What's up, guys? Welcome to Fouts Boxing Theory. And we're going to be taking a look at some highlights of Gvozdyk and Beterbiev, and then Gvozdyk and Balatniks, and then some Caleb Plant and Benavidez. We're going to be taking a look at Gvozdyk first because he's the underdog. We're going to just be talking about some strategy stuff, and I didn't really have time to chop clips, so we're going to be watching this highlight video and just be talking about some stuff here. Now, this idea right here is extremely, extremely important. This is the first jab that this slow hulking monster from position 2 who's penduluming forward in the most obvious timing ever, right? Just watch him come forward with this jab, pendulum here, gets to the front foot, getting to the front foot, penduluming, and again, just getting touched right away. This is the first problem with Gvozdyk is his guard. It always looks like he's in position to punch and fight with you. This is another one, right? Taking a little funny angle here, but look at how he kind of gets back into position. Now, kind of off the line, kind of slipping toward the back foot. And this is going to be because he's primarily, right, this is his defense. He's trying to jab here as well. Come backs with a counter. He's primarily a pull counter style fighter. Now, against lower level athletes, double jab, 2, 3, okay, a couple of combination stuff. Pay attention, no head movement at all in that sequence. Getting to the line, decent circling, opening up with a left hook, gets him to pull off the line with the right hand. Beautiful. Now, this is not conventional Gvozdyk. I'd never seen him do this before. This was a result of training with Teddy Atlas, who thought this was going to be a firefight for some reason. And, Gvozdyk, for whatever reason, went out there and just was throwing crazy bomb combinations. And he could have just thrown one punch at a time like this and slowly got off the line. But this is a very, very bad technique. I don't expect him to be utilizing that right hand and then trying to step over with, it's terrible, 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 terrible. And again, this is the worst problem with Gvozdyk. He's such a talented fighter. He's so, you know, he's a very talented guy, very, very talented athlete. Number one, let's take a look at a few things. Look at his feet, right? Number one, it's okay. His feet are okay, but look at this, right? Look at where your feet are kind of supposed to be. They're kind of supposed to be under you, right? Beterbiev, karate stance. But what in the hell is going on here with this structure? Anyway, his feet are so far apart, right? But it was really easy right there for Beterbiev to get on his line. Now, I want to be mindful. These are highlights, okay? These are highlights. So, these are the best things that somebody did. But this right here, very, very, very good. Left hook into a right hand. So controlling him, following up. Why is he throwing 5 punches? One of the biggest reasons. You don't need to be that far ahead, Mr. Gvozdyk. You don't need to be using that much energy on all that bullshit. Stepping around. Okay, now a few things I want to talk about here. Okay, because we saw that fake ass bullshit he did last time. Now we're going to see some of it again. Here, boom, boom, stepping around here. Gets his head off the line. Okay, tries to come back. He's not actually ahead of Beterbiev here, though. I mean, he is because it's Beterbiev, but he wouldn't be actually ahead of a normal fighter who has an active guard. And after making contact with the first punch, David Benavidez is going to be looking to interact with him. And notice he didn't even land that shot that he spent all that energy trying to get to. Again, left hook, right hand. Now, this is really important because he's trying to interact with his opponent right there, trying to counter him, Beterbiev. Okay, but pull counterish like motion, down, gets back to the line with that stepping jab, and look at how he gets caught here. Okay, and again, one of the biggest problems that Gvozdyk has is, man, how do you just say this? He's like one of those like Ukrainian guys, but his defense is just, it's crap. It's crap defense. It's awful. Getting off the line, combat takes place in 3 phases, right? You got to get on the line with your opponent. Then you got to do your business. You got to work. And then you got to get off the line. You can't stay there, right? And his 3rd phase of combat is just really, really, really poor as well. He's got some tricks, Now, being a primarily like pull counter style fighter, he's also decent with his jabs. Notice right there, controlling him. Got a little look from Beterbiev, right? If we just go back real quick. Please? Jab? Nothing? Oh, okay, cool. So immediately following that shot up because there was no counter from Beterbiev. Beterbiev wasn't ready to interact. Now, Beterbiev testing with the left hook right here, telling him, okay, no more follow-ups. Don't throw a left hook. I'm ready, right? So the end of the follow-ups in that sequence. Now, again, look at this bad defense. Okay, ducking below the waist, not legal. Benavidez has really fast hands. Okay, and this is one of those things. Now, I know he wasn't in Canelo's camp, but Canelo has a very interesting style because he's a smaller fighter, power puncher, and if he's the primary sparring partner for Canelo, Canelo's a one punch at a time fighter. You know, in Benavidez, you know, granted, I don't know who his sparring partners were for this fight, but I know that's his camp, right? Benavidez is not a one punch at a time fighter. And the pull counter style that Gvozdyk has, and we're going to take a look at his more earlier form or more recent stuff as well in a few minutes. But again, touch, bop, real calm, real easy. Again, parrying, trying to pull here, comes up with a shot, another combination. Now, I do want to point out his hands are slow compared to Benavidez. Gvozdyk moves around. He gets good control of the line with the double jab right there. Doesn't fall out of position. Gets this shot. He looks ready to do another move. He doesn't look out of position after throwing that shot. I think he is a little bit out of position because, as we talked about, his feet, right? Look at how far apart they are. Now, this is really interesting, too, because he's got this bladed stance with his feet, right? And they're so far apart. However, look at how square he is up top. Okay, this is going to be a major problem for him because, and I'm not sure when we're going to get to see it. Here's coming forward. Maybe we're going to see it right here. Left hook. So look at him parrying this shot here. Okay, because he's so square, but his feet are so bladed, but his hands are so square, his shoulders, which is fine. Kinda. Right? Kinda. He's going to be very susceptible to follow up left hooks. Now, countering the jab here, not that much important. Ooh, getting caught with a slip counter here. Now, when he throws this shot here, it's very important. Okay, when we take a look at, boom, he throws this shot. Beterbiev's getting his head off the line, boom. It doesn't matter that he got countered here and he chose this sequence wrong, right? Beterbiev used his IQ. He's like, I got this, man. I figured this one out. I predicted it right. Beterbiev did not, or Gvozdyk did not. However, Beterbiev is no Teofimo Lopez, right? He's not really that good of a fighter, right? He's not like this super snappy, crazy, good hooking puncher. He's a 2-foot punch, you know, steroid test failing, you know, guy, you know. He's talented, he's strong, right? He's going to beat most people up even if he wasn't juicing or whatever, but he's really like, you know. Anyway, the most important part is, what does Gvozdyk do after this rear hand here? Well, is this a good peel? Right? It was okay, right? It was okay, but he did not get his right hand up after making that shot. We're going to take a look at it again. Throws the right hand. After this beat, he gets hit. Does he pull? Does he get down? Does he get his block up after? He gets hit by a left hook, right? It wasn't a quick enough block. It wasn't a quick enough positional change. He didn't defend his position. He didn't follow up. He didn't peel. Like, it was just a little bit too slow. And the problem with it being too slow, again, when we take a look at his feet, right? Let's take a look when we get to see right hand. Look at his back leg trailing, okay? And again, that's going to be really bad against someone like Benavidez, who is so fast, and can make him pay for these shots. Okay, and I think that that's going to be a big thing. Now, really good timing here from Gvozdyk. Good follow-up. Still gets kind of hit here. Notice in this, no real head movement here from Gvozdyk. Right? He does cross the line. Like, there's some technical stuff here. Like, he does well. But, boom, off the line here. And now he makes it to the front foot. Combination. Boom. All in one position. Nothing necessarily wrong with that. But if you're throwing punches all from one position, they're generally really goddamn fast. And nothing that Gvozdyk did there was very fast. Which suggests that his footwork is very compromised. Again, little momentum right there. Pushing forward with that rear hand. But again, pull counter. There you go. I was just about to say, he's primarily a pull counter fighter. He's looking to set up his own pull counters with his jabs, make some sequences very predictable. And again, one of the things that he's kind of slow, kind of stepping jab oriented here. Notice Beterbiev catching him right over the top. This is only the second round. And he's already getting hit over the top. And again, I think Beterbiev is, and it's crazy too. This is interesting because I don't really rate Beterbiev as that great of a fighter. I don't think he's that good. But is he a weight bully? He's not even like that big for the size. He's just really strong, right? So it is pretty nuts. But having adverse findings in your steroids, in your in your VADA testing or your whatever your steroid testing. Kind of sketchy to me in my opinion. You know. Anyway, Beterbiev again catching him. Now again, I want to talk about, look at his guard. This is so important because he doesn't really have a guard. Gvozdyk, he's trying to control you with his jabs and his feints and his stuff. You know, he's trying to control you with his lead hand and then fight off of it for the pull counters and then get you to throw something dumb at him so he can pull counter it. Um, all of that stuff fighting on the first basic layer of combat, man, Gvozdyk is super good, right? If he can get you to play those games, but because he doesn't have his hands up, he's also very susceptible to just being exploded onto. If your opponent is just going to be snapping onto your line, okay, we're going to be calling it snapping onto your line from now on. Fouts boxing theory. They're just going to snap onto your line, okay? It's very difficult to interact with those kind of guys that are very fast like that. If you don't really have your hands up, you don't have a good guard. And again, look at this position here in this kind of scramble position from Gvozdyk. Hands are down. One of his feet's not on the ground. He's shifting back. Some of this is forgivable because he can't explode and he can still snap himself. But his hands being down, that part's the part that's really tough to reconcile. Getting caught here. And again, his defense. Is he peeling? Is he getting off the line here? How's he going to deal? This was prime Gvozdyk. Pull counter again. Beautiful shot. Now, I do want to point out, how is he going to be landing a shot like that against Beterbiev or against Benavidez when Benavidez is just so much faster, right? Again, with the hands down. And another part that's really interesting, okay, the last little wrinkle to this, okay, Gvozdyk being a pull counter guy, Beterbiev or Benavidez is a combination puncher. If Benavidez was able to throw a 2 right now, just go 1-2, he would very likely just ice him, right? Get his head across the line, and that would be the end of the fight. Jumping on the line, and again, post-punch defense from Gvozdyk is just so bad. Boom, boom, boom. Got him with a good shot. Where does he go from here? Now, sometimes he has some fancy stuff he does. He does some real good stuff. Now, this is another one of those problems that's so bad for Gvozdyk. Again, when he gets on the line here, right? Look at his guard. Is a straight punch going to hit him? Is a jab going to hit him? Is a this going to hit him? Well, when the punch comes, what does he think it's going to be? He thinks it's going to be a straight punch. So he has his high guard up, and he doesn't have his hands on the side. He's not choosing the side of the line. He just gets smacked by an overhand right. Benavidez is way faster, way trickier, way more explosive than this guy. And again, bad defense, ducking below the waist, holding already, right? This is not going to fly against David Benavidez. His hands are way faster than Beterbiev's on the inside, and he's going to be able to find very, very similar shots that Beterbiev did because Beterbiev's good with his hands, but Benavidez is better. Everything that Beterbiev does, Benavidez is better. Decent little combination, and now look at him pendulum right in front of Beterbiev after that. No post-punch defense, didn't get off the line. Benavidez is very, very, very active on the line. Okay, now let's just go ahead and take a look at one of his more recent fights. And actually, we're going to go ahead and see if this will work too. We're going to put it on faster. Okay, we're just going to watch it kind of in quick motion, getting on the line with a hook, a little stepping jab. And again, things we want to be looking at. Where's his defense? Did he slip? Did he pull? Did he get down? He just moves straight back. His hands didn't get up to block. Maybe he gets hit with a follow-up left cross here, like he hit Beterbiev. Maybe he actually would have gotten hit with the rear hand after instead. Stepping jab, getting countered by Bolotniks almost over the top. Again, post-punch defense in this sequence, very, very poor. Again, stepping jab, very, very easy to see. And again, there was a time where Gvozdyk was ahead of the game, right? But he's not anymore, and these shots are so easy to see. This guy, who is this guy? Bolotniks, right? Rear hand probe, falling a little bit off balance. Yeah, let's go ahead and get back to regular time. It's too fast. Boom, again, stepping jab over the top. Now, look at where his guard is. And again, one of the things I was talking about, that bladed stance. Now, he's not looking to block a punch here with his right hand. He's looking to catch or parry a jab. So a left hook is going to be very good for him. And Benavidez, man, that guy's a left hook guy. And interestingly enough, I also think that the worst thing, right? There was a clip of him getting hurt against somebody's left hook because he also doesn't always move his head either. Right hand, left hook, follow up, no real head movement. Stepping jab, countered, no head movement. Post punch defense is very poor. Now that's the move. That's the move right there. That's the one I think that David Benavidez is going to get him with. I think that's going to be like the most dangerous thing for him because I do think that Gvozdyk is going to have a little bit of control over Benavidez early with the lead hand. I don't think that Benavidez is going to be worried about it, but I do think that it's going to take him a second, right? He's like, oh, what's going to happen? But as soon as he starts throwing that shot or throwing the right hand over the top of it, easy shot. Benavidez is very good at that shot too, that right hand to the body. We're going to see some of that as well. Right hand to the body, post punch defense. Did he exit the line? Did he peel? Did he block? Did he get his hands up? So again, a very, very quick like snap after blocking or just eating that shot from Gvozdyk. Again, post punch defense, very, very bad from Gvozdyk. Okay, getting hit by this guy's jab, this random nobody. You know, excellent rear hand probes from Gvozdyk. And again, when those shots come, looking to get that cross block up right there and not really looking to block or catch hooks. So again, I think he will be very, very susceptible to those moves. Decent follow up there. Now, again, taking a look at his guard, right? Are his hands up? Mostly athleticism, right? And this kind of defense doesn't work against people who have fast hands. Okay, what if a left hook comes right now to the body, right? Now you can't prepare for everything. I'm not just saying this and that, but the fact that Gvozdyk has to react so violently to the first punch is very, very, very important. Smack, left hook. All right, let's take this as the opportunity to go ahead and get into some Caleb Plant versus Benavidez. Now the fight may have two phases, okay? The phase where come on, dude. The phase where Gvozdyk is getting respect from Plant, or getting, Benavidez is getting, or Gvozdyk is getting respect from Benavidez, and he's not coming forward, and he's not pressuring, and he's like trying to figure him out and try not to get hit clean, and you know that's going to look a little bit like this, where maybe the guy's able to kind of throw a couple of combinations, right? But notice post punch defense from Plant, hands are down, okay? We're going to start to see very, very fast snapping from Benavidez getting to the line. But we're going to start to see Benavidez starting to counter him on the way inside. Now, I want you to take a look at how quick Caleb Plant is here, okay? It's very important. Look at how easily he's touching the lead hand and firing the body shot here. Okay, now I don't think that Benavidez always has the best post-punch defense either, but I do think he's so much faster than Gvozdyk. And Gvozdyk, because he's always in that bladed stance with his feet, but he's always also with his rear shoulder so far forward, he doesn't actually move to the back foot at all. Right? So he's going to be on the front foot, kind of lunging, and that's also why he kind of steps with his jab to get that momentum into it. And I do think that if Gvozdyk winds up attacking Benavidez after the body shot, overall, that'll wind up being a better thing for Benavidez because Benavidez is the guy trying to get on the line with him, right? Now, again, I don't know why that's in there. Rear hand probe. So this shot here, man, super sneaky, super deceptive from Benavidez. Just coming forward off of his pendulum walk, leans forward. And again, Doesn't get Plant right now. Okay, but as we go on and we watch these highlights, we're going to start seeing Benavidez pick him up and land those shots. But again, very similar guard from Benavidez. Leaping hook, gets on the line. And again, the post punch defense, one of those things that um, Gvozdyk does, right? He'll do some dorky darting stuff, or he'll try to move to the right, which I don't think he'll do. I think he knows um, that was a fake move. It didn't work. But he still will try to control you and push you and shove you off a little bit. And again, look at how quick Benavidez was to catch Plant in that very similar position after snapping onto his line. Now, that's Benavidez coming forward with that leaping shot right there, which again, I think is going to be a huge, huge thing for him. And again, look at how readily available he's using those rear hand probes. Boom, leaping left hook. And that was off of his opponent, right? He was following up Caleb Plant's jab. Now, again, Gvozdyk doesn't really have his hands up. Very similar to Plant here, right? But look at Benavidez with his hands up in a position to block the primarily straight punches from Gvozdyk. Gvozdyk may go to the body with the rear hand and then come up to the head with the hook, but he doesn't move his head when he does that. And if he has to find those kind of holes against Benavidez, I think Benavidez is going to catch him with some other shots, with some really good counters. I think that sometimes maybe Gvozdyk can do some stuff like this. And again, I just want to point out, look at how absolutely nuts fast Plant is. Gvozdyk's not that fast. Gvozdyk is sharp, but he's not really as snappy. He's not really as snappy as Caleb Plant. Now, this is so interesting because those moves that I was saying that are the best moves against Gvozdyk, the leaping hook, and then the overhand right against this lead hand control, against that bladed stance, against that, keeping his hand out there, not knowing how to block, overhand right. Now, it doesn't wind up getting over even his arm. Beautiful shot from Benavidez. And again, if Gvozdyk is jumping on his line, I think that Benavidez is so fast, man. And Plant is a monster. Like, Plant is really fast, man. He's a really tough athlete, you know? I just think in those small situations, again, I think that he's going to be able to catch Gvozdyk with those shots, and then be the one starting the sequences, right? And against Beterbiev, it was really interesting because Gvozdyk was basically ahead all the time, but constantly putting himself in positions to lose sequences by being on the line too long, you know? And I don't think that necessarily he'll do that same thing, okay? But I don't think that he's going to be naturally ahead every round against Benavidez. I think Benavidez rear hand probes like that are going to put him ahead against Gvozdyk, and also his stepping jab here, because again, he doesn't have his hands up. I think Benavidez, again, with the primarily pull counter centric. Now, again, beautiful lead hand control from Benavidez, right? Forcing Plant into the corner, and now he has to make a decision. Is he going to go left? Is he going to go right? Right? There's an old song when I was a kid. We used to sing it in PE class. My teacher, Mrs. Tullis, used to sing it. There's a something in the road. Can't go over it. Can't go under it. Gotta go around it. Whatever the thing was. And Benavidez cuts the ring off, gets him in the corner, and Plant says, well, I can't go around it. Gotta go under it. Doesn't feel comfortable getting around the left hook or the right hand. So he has to go under both of these arms, body up with Benavidez. And this is blatant cheating. It's not part of the strategy of boxing, right? It has become part of the strategy of boxing thanks to, like, you know, all those fighters that didn't know how to pendulum step and were too afraid to learn how to use their feet. Floyd Mayweather, right? Ducking below the waist and holding and, those kinds of things, and not actually having real defense. I know people think Mayweather had good defense, but, like, seriously, go watch him. Go watch him and, like, watch the people he fought. How good How good were they? They were shit. But beautiful lead hand control from Benavidez, showing that the lead hand from Gvozdyk. Let's just go ahead and take one more look at Gvozdyk just a little bit. The lead hand, right? Get into the line. That's how he controls space, right there. Look at how easy it was to find space over the top of that. Benavidez is not going to have any trouble getting around those shots. He's not going to have any trouble. He's not intimidated by lead hand control, right? And it's not that difficult to get on Gvozdyk's line. Good probe. Again, trying to peel, trying to get off the line. But nothing that Gvozdyk does is necessarily that fast or that snappy. That was an excellent uppercut. Well timed. But Gvozdyk on average is just, he's slow, man. He's not, as Tank Davis said, right? Tank Davis was talking about, he's trying to see if he's one of those guys, one of those dudes, right? And Tank Davis is a snappy fighter, right? Learning how to snap is a skill, by the way, guys. And if you guys want to learn how to snap, if you guys want to learn true punching power, you want to learn how to become a striker, okay? A real one. Not like a fake one, not like Tom Yankello teaches, not that bullshit, okay? Like a real striker, okay? You want to learn snap, check out the Fouts Boxing Academy in the description below. It is pseudo private training. Okay, there's over 100 drills, and I'm going to be uploading over 100 more. Um, and they're going to teach you everything starting from basic mobility, getting your body working, right? If you're a very, very beginner and you don't know how to move and you don't know position 1 and position 2, and it's going to slowly teach you in very, very, very easy ways how to get your body working. And it's going to teach you, once you get your body moving and working in these specific ways, why you want to be doing it, how this helped, and then also how to transition these very basic mobility drills into boxing. Okay, turn you into, and also, okay, I'm the first coach in history to be able to teach punching power, to be able to teach it to anybody. I 100% guarantee that I can teach you how to punch hard, not like harder, but hard, incredibly hard, snappy, ruthless, violent punches. Okay, and I'm the first coach in history to be able to claim that I can teach it to anybody, man or woman. Okay, every coach on history says, well, you can improve it a little bit, but punches are born, blah, blah, blah. No, horse shit. Fouts Boxing Theory has cracked the code 100%. Now, if you guys want to check it out in the Fouts Boxing Combat System below, it's like 40 hours of content. It's like $300, or you guys can join the Patreon, or the Discord. It's $20 a month. And then if you want a 6-month, it's $100 for 6 months, or it's $160 for a year. Okay. Now, if you want full private one-on-one coaching, anytime you send in videos, I'll try to get videos back to you as soon as I can, individually with just your work, so that you can improve and you can become the fighter that you want. Okay. Um, and again, I guarantee, if you join my Discord, okay, not only will you learn all the correct patterns of movement and of movement and patterns of movement to learn boxing, but you will become a better boxer. You will learn how punching power works. Okay, so check out the Discord. It's going to be the Fouts Boxing Academy school. Okay, it's going to be a long-term project and community, and it's only if you get the 1-year subscription. If you want to just be part of the community, send in your videos. There's going to be weekly Boxing Academy videos, teaching people what they're doing wrong, going through other fighters and through history, showing examples. It's going to be a really, really, really cool community with eventually hundreds of members, hundreds of people sending in videos, looking to get better. It's going to be the #1 place, not only to learn boxing, but to discuss boxing. Okay. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. Where were we in this film study? This guy jumping on the line, and literally the only success he had is exploding and throwing all these punches. Gvozdyk just ain't that. He's not that fast, right? Oh, snappy, right? David Benavidez, too snappy, too fast, too furious. Decent guard against first contact, body shot, and again, if there's any follow-ups, again, Benavidez very, very, very quick at finding the counter left hook. And let's just take a look real quick. How effective do we think that counter left hook is going to be? Well, let's take a look at what Gvozdyk does. Right hand, Gets countered by almost the right hand. Oh, good. Now again, check this out, you guys. Again, pull counter eccentric fighter. Boom, pull, jab, right hand, pull, jab. Right? This is all planned. This is not an accident. Right? That's how he's trying to fight him. And these margins that he's playing, right? Not only are they tougher against people who are faster and snappier than you, but they're also tougher if your opponent is going to be following those punches up with furious combinations. Now, much better guard here. Much better guard. But on average, again, look at him trying to parry that straight shot. If it was a hook, boom, boom. Come on, Gvozdyk, go first. You gonna ever go first? Rear hand. One. Got under it. Decent, decent. Didn't counter at all. Here's that leaping left hook we're looking for. Anyway, let's go back to Benavidez because he's got some other tricks we want to talk about first too. There you go, chasing him back with that left hook. Again, he's gonna find that shot. You know. Now there you go. That's one of the first times he lands that rear hand probe right there. And against Plant, he's very fast, right? And again, I don't think that Gvozdyk is going to have the control. Again, left hook counter. I don't think Gvozdyk is going to have the control over Benavidez to keep him off or the speed and the snappiness that he does to keep Benavidez off of him as long. I think the fight is going to be looking a little bit more. I want to see. There's a couple of more cool things right in the beginning. Again, just so dangerous with these shots. Leaping shot, gets a good block. Following up. And again, he's so quick. Even that last sequence here before it cuts off here. Boom, 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 boom. Gets held. Look at him get the frame on the neck. And Benavidez is going to create a little bit of space and punch him. He's so good with those moves. And I think Gvozdyk is, pretty basic with some of that inside fighting and stuff. He's more of like, I don't want to even say like a traditional boxer because he's not. Like, he kind of is, but his traditional boxing skills are more pull counter related than interacting with punches. Right. Well, that's the way he interacts with them, is pulling. Is Gvozdyk going to have shots like that? Because again, Gvozdyk is a rear hand prober as well, right? Here comes that rear hand probe. Okay. Very, very fast, right? I do think that Gvozdyk hides his better, just a little bit better than Plant does. However, I think that the fact that Plant is so fast and snappy, it winds up being a very similar move, right? Now, that's another move that I don't think that Gvozdyk is going to be very good and prepared for. Pendulum gets under, good counter. Gvozdyk may be able to keep him off with the pendulums. Excellent left hook counter from Benavidez. Again, he's just killing him with that shot. He's finding it almost any time that he wants. And on average, I do think that Gvozdyk keeps his right hand in front of his chin, okay, to catch jabs and stuff. And I think that the margins are getting slower. Anyway, let's just kind of skip forward a little bit to the 9th round. Boom. Finding a hole for that shot very easily. Okay. And I'm finding a shot for this shot on the inside. And again, once he gets comfortable, I think that Benavidez, and again, this is illegal, wrapping your arms around your opponent. Okay, it's not clinching. Finding an overhand. Left hook again, left hook again. I think that this part of the fight, because Gvozdyk is much slower than Plant, he's not as snappy. Both of them are very good ring generals. I would argue that Gvozdyk seems like a better ring general. But I'm not sure that that's going to be the case in this fight because he will try to grab and hold you too, right? But I do think that that's a very difficult thing to do against David Benavidez, and I think that that's him being slower and grabbing being more of a part of it. because he's going to control space with the lead hand, trying to be circling, trying to be stepping around Benavidez. But I think that eventually he'll be able to cut the ring off because he only basically has the jab. He does have the rear hand probe, but he doesn't fight well off of that punch. And I think that it's going to be more of a liability for him. Beautiful work from Benavidez. And again, I think that Benavidez will get to go first with his rear hand probes and stuff more often against Gvozdyk. And I think that's worse for Gvozdyk um, than Gvozdyk getting to go first and control Benavidez, because Benavidez he does have moves, he does have his own pull counters, he does have that very good left hook. You don't know if it's going to be a left hook, a jab, or a straight right hand. And I would say that terrible punch right there, terrible mechanics. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the fight. David Benavidez also has another move that he jumps on the line real quick, and he plays around the lead hand to find that right hand of the body. I think that's going to be another one of those quick, nice moves to get ahead on the scoring that he can use to put pressure on Gvozdyk to interact with him. And then again, I do think that he's gonna. I don't know if he can stop him. I don't know if he can stop Gvozdyk. Gvozdyk looks pretty big. He's moving up in weight, but Benavidez is moving up in weight too. So maybe he'll be stronger. He won't be cutting as much weight. Maybe this, maybe that. Um, yeah, I think it's going to be a stoppage. I think it's inevitable to be a stoppage, mostly because I think that the part of the fight where there's too much pressure on on Gvozdyk is going to happen much earlier than it happened against Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant is naturally like a fleet-footed fighter, to say the least, right? Just trying to control space, trying to put a leash on you and drag you around with his lead hand, and then hopefully sometimes step in with a jab or step in with a left hook, shove you and get off the line, maybe throw a rear hand probe of his own. But because his footwork, Caleb Plant's footwork is not very smooth, he's like, karate stance too. He kind of steps kind of funny. He doesn't have a good circling or a good stepping around. And again, if you guys want to learn how to do all that stuff, the best ways to learn it, check it out, Fouts Boxing Academy. 100 simple drills to practice and learn to become an expert level fighter. Okay. Anyway, I don't think that this is a good fight for Gvozdyk, and Benavidez, he's already sparred him. Benavidez has already been in the ring with him. You know, and I think it's much easier for Gvozdyk to get stressed out in his sparring because of his overall low snap rate and speed um, than it is for Benavidez to get overwhelmed in sparring because he has the ability to go so fast. You know. Anyway, my pick, obviously, Benavidez. I think it's going to be a KO. I think that Benavidez could get it done early if he really tried really hard. I think he could get it done in like 2 or 3 rounds. But I'm gonna guess 9. I'm gonna guess 9 and be prepared for it to be like 11. um, and then thoughts on Tank and Frank Martin. Um, I think that Frank Martin, and I'm not gonna bring up any film or nothing. We're just gonna talk about it for a minute. But uh, Tank has some weird footwork problems that he has too, where he'll try to be in position 1 for too long. He's not very fluid when he circles either. He doesn't really know how to go from position 1 to position 2. But he can move forward and he can weave through the line a little bit and cross the line and hide his punches a little bit. Like he can box, he can do the stuff, And I don't think that Frank Martin can. I think Frank Martin's a karate fighter. I think he's going to be stuck in like one position. He does have his rear hand or his lead hand up, and he'll sometimes have it glued to his face, and it makes it a little bit hard to hit him clean. But um, I think Tank is so fast that he'll still be able to find the opening against Frank. And uh, I think that one of the things that he has a problem with, I think Frank's, after he throws some shots, his post punch defense is not always that good. He'll be like standing straight up. Um, Now it's interesting too because he does have the ability to sharply jump on somebody's line and hit them hard. Um, um, but I don't know if he can. I don't think he's very good at actually interacting with punches other than pulling. I don't think he's going to be good at blocking and catching punches, and because of that, I think that Frank Martin is going to be moving away from Tank more so than moving to him. I know someone in the comment section of the last video said that they think Frank Martin is going to be putting it on Tank, but because Tank is small for the like he's not small, but Frank Martin is just big for the division. Um, but Frank doesn't really like chain stuff together very well. He's not like throwing 5, 6, 8 punch combinations. He's throwing one punch and then like bad peel. You know, his footwork kind of gets compromised when he tries to go fast. Tank's will too, but Tank's really fast. Tank is really snappy. Um, so I don't know if I think when they're talking brick hands, that's not like you're not striking with a brick. You're swinging a brick. You throw a brick. You know, Tank Davis is a striker, and he's going to be able to find some of those holes. Um, Raleigh Romero is like close to being a striker. He's like pretty close, but he's got like kind of like bricks too. He's close. Um, but I think that you know Frank Martin has a chance, especially if he's big enough to eat the first couple of shots from Tank Davis. Now a few things. Tank Davis gets a lot of credit for being a good fighter. Okay, one of Tank Davis's best defenses against Ryan Garcia, ducking below the waist and then holding. Neither of which are legal, especially one after the other. Right, 2 fouls in a row. Right, it's very, very, very difficult to fight someone like Ryan Garcia without cheating. Right? Look at how quickly the fight would have ended with Devin Haney had Devin Haney not been allowed to grab and hold. Okay? So, Tank Davis, incredible boxing, first contact. Holy crap. Think like super Oleksandr Gvozdyk, except that he can snap. Except that he's number two striker on the planet, maybe number two. I think I've got Crawford ahead of him. Um, I think that Crawford is better with all of the punches. Tank Davis is better with the straight left than Crawford is with his straights. But Crawford's better with literally every other punch than than just the rear hand. But Crawford also fights southpaw, so it's like he has twice as many punches that he's good with, right? Anyway, or like 10 times as many. Um, 5 times still, I guess. Anyway, I think that Frank Martin has a shot if he can beat and compete with Tank on first contact. But I'm not really expecting Frank to be as sharp and snappy and dangerous as Ryan Garcia. Even though I expect him to be a better boxer, I expect there to be less free holes than there were against Ryan Garcia. Um, but I expect Frank Martin to make some footwork errors after punching, or even worse, Tank is actually again. I do think that Tank is going to be trying to pull counter as well, or Frank is going to be trying to pull counter as well. This is a game that Tank is very good at, so he's going to know how to play it. But I think that Frank may also just get hit with a straight left, like just from Tank's active guard. Just he's moving around and he just might explode into it and catch him. The only caveat to that is if he's actually taller than uh, Tank, and he can like make those inches into miles, and be able to pull off the line just enough. Um, but I'm expecting Frank to be hittable. Even though he does on average have a better guard than most fighters, I think he's going to be pretty hittable because Tank's very fast, very 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 sharp. Anyway, something. Check out the Fouts Boxing Academy. See you guys.